Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm a bit nasally today, but I thought I'd give an episode. Alright. Okay. Our home is the greatness of the future. A part of me feels that our modernity is missing out. It feels like something should be happening that isn't there. It feels almost like there should be a dimension that's not present, but it feels like there should be something there that isn't, right? Now, what that feeling is, what I've cornered it to, out of all it could be, is a feeling of collective purpose. I feel that the human being is designed. It's designed not to just be individual, but it's designed to be collective. So if we're all designed to be collective, the collective initiatives are kind of like inevitable. You know, it's to some degree an argument about what can the life force rely on. You rely on your individualism. You rely on your personhood. So I rely on myself, I rely on the world, and I rely on others. Because that's what existence is. Never has it been an individual show. It has always been a theater, a collective theater of some sort. 8 billion years just for us to become the greatest actors in the cosmos. And how do we know we are the greatest actors in the cosmos? Simply because we can notice ourselves. Technically there is like a self here, and then the expressions of this self are either, short-lived or long-lasting. When I think about my life, or the implication of the significance of the decisions I make even today, it's about what lasts. It's kind of like we live the day and then it resets, right? So every day is resetting. What's left behind is what exists on to the next day. What technology has done has been to shift the experience of time. What that means is, back in the day, reality was stored only through memory. Now it's stored outside of the brain. I constantly think about the purpose of the existence of 8 billion minds that are conscious. It's as if, what was the point of evolution? 4.5 billion years we evolved just to notice we're gonna die, just to notice we're suffering, just to notice how incomplete life is, or does the mind have an intention to complete a mission of sort? And what's fascinating about life is that there's multiple missions, right? Like there's a purpose to my existence, that's reproduction. Then there's a purpose to my mind. I've given that purpose to be collective service. Then there's a purpose to what the world is. So it's kind of like I'm in the world now. I'm experiencing my own version of the world now. But I also notice that there is the own version of the world outside of how my mind has given it meaning of any sort. And then I also realize there is the variation of the potential of the world where my world somehow influenced the world that's going to outlast it, right? So to be a human being means in some sense you're not like nature means worlds come and go. Technology's kind of defying that, making it more like worlds stay. Because who knows, maybe like a couple thousand years ago, like maybe in 2012 the world should have ended. Do you know what I'm saying? You see, it all goes down to what is the world made of. If existence is truly an external to intelligent recognition of it, pretty much if the world is made of matter, the mystery is beyond us. If the world is made of mind, the mystery is us. Now, I've noticed that in this human, let's say Earth is a workstation. In this workstation, human beings, their modalities are different. That means I notice this because I live differently on different days. One day I lived purely as a presence. It didn't matter my body, my mind. It was as if I was just watching the moment as the whole moment, the whole time. There's days where I'm my persona. When I'm my persona, it's kind of like there's a specific expectation on what reality can be. When I'm just being my body, there is no realm of domain of mind, which means kind of like when I sit down, there isn't like overthinking on how am I sitting down, you know? It's honestly like three levels of intelligence. And then how are these levels becoming acquainted with themselves? So if I was to define, like if I was to explain like human intelligence the way I access it, it would be something like this, that right now my mind is under the jurisdiction of my body. Excuse me, my body is under the jurisdiction of my mind. Why? Because I can move my body. Because I can envision my hand raising and it raises into there. So the body is under the governance of the mind. The next question is, what is the mind under the governance of? And it tended to be the world. What that means is that the environment moved us. Now we move ourselves, so we move the environment. So evolution has changed the game. You know, as what's the term? Change the tables. I don't know. Like the idea is that everybody knows that the mind is moving the body. Then the next question comes, what is moving the mind? We know that the world is part of it, right? But what else other than the world? And we see that there's two control factors. If I stop making decisions for myself, life starts making decisions for me. If I make decisions, I risk separating myself from life. So what that means is if I want to live and be an active agent, decision-making agent in this realm as a system, as an organism, as a being, In order to be that agent, it's as if there has to be the risk of being in my own world. So it's either I live confidently in my own limitation, or I am limitlessly cautious. Do you know? I'm cautious of the limitless, or I'm in some sense confident in the limitation. To be confident of the limitless is very dehumanized, and it can happen because the human existence is like an instrument. Honestly, guys, we're like an instrument. Right now, you might be like, "Yo, this is this guy talking," but my existence is being instrumented by my intelligence, which has to do with a viewing force responding to its perception. So I am like the reaction of my intelligence to the existence that has entered my sensory network. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying that more and more I'm waking up to not what it's as if the human destiny is is amplifying, or better yet, the human destiny to advance is amplifying. You know, what can I do? Being a human being is such a small life that you need to find something bigger. And that option is either God, which is beyond time, or something that is in time, which is the future. Pretty much, I want the whole species to live for its totality. Right now, you're listening. Let's say if you're a healthy person, you're living for yourself. Then you're living for your family. Then you're living for your group, community. Then you're living for your nation. Then you're living for your species. Then you're living for your planet. Then you're living for your solar system. Then you're living for your galaxy. Do you see? We're climbing the staircase of existential responsibility as a species. There are so many types of human beings. And the idea of the human being, I think it's by design, because we exist, I think we're expecting something more than existence. Do you know, I don't think people are expecting death, right? Even though in the outer realms, that's what it looks like, of course. But I'm saying just the idea, the notion, the familiarity with the feeling that the forms can intelligently move. Like the moment that's received by consciousness, it's like, how can death exist? Like the checkpoint was superior beyond form. Do you understand? So what it is it has to do with something with form. So either the afterlife is formless or it has form. Then the next question is, what kind of form? Then different religions share different input here. But it has to do with form and attention. That's one thing I know. That you as a being, we want to talk about human spirituality. Human spirituality has to do with attention being existence instantaneously. Right now, there's an argument for how I'm just existing. There's an argument that existence is being known through experience, so experience is only existing. Do you understand? That means experience is the consciousness, is the precursor to certifiable existence, verifiable existence. Our home is the greatness of the future because our homes are being left for the future. Everything. Our existence, we think it has a value to us. We don't realize it has a value for the future. The talks of today are for tomorrow. Your body may be from Earth. Your beliefs, ideas, and personality may be from Earth. But your awareness to what is beyond Earth is not from Earth. My beloved humanity, my beloved species, in the solitude of your existence, you will wonder about the depths of your intelligence. You will wonder about your strength for yourself and for others and for the world. You will wonder who you will be. There is a famous quote by Lao Tzu. He says you must let go of who you are now to become who you're meant to, something in those lines. You got to let go of what you are now to become who you're meant to be. And so I feel this not on an individual level. Individual level, I felt this many times, but on a collective level, that the whole idea of the species right now, the biggest issue is not evil people. The biggest issue is a communication error. The network, the communication, the comm lines. Do you understand? That means imagine we're in a battlefield in the military. Like on some battlefield, it's the communication line between those who are in the front lines and those who are in the back, like strategizing. Right? So the relationship of the tactician and the strategist, you know? So when I look at the human species, guys, this is my honest feeling, just having this be said. That I ask myself, what is more cooler, you know? What is more responsibly entertaining? To just solo out my own advanced kind of thing, like to just become an advanced being in my own world, or to realize that until everybody is advanced, until we build the advanced civilization, I cannot know what advanced level of a being I am. It's all about vision. What moves your life is how big you see this world, really. And what's accessible to you, right? I'm Mr. Within is telling you that the honor to serve the greatest species in the Milky Way galaxy is at hand. Do you understand? Like, I don't understand why everybody after work isn't just going and serving, advancing the civilization. Like, do you know? In the future, we're gonna want community service. Why? Because the advancement of the community is the benefit of everybody in it. We've reached that time where we have to start caring for everybody because they don't realize that they need the care. Do you know? And people are gonna be like, Mr. Within, if you love everybody, then you love nobody. You know, there's arguments like that, but I will tell you that's not the case. Because you're in this world once. Like, if you tell yourself, all right, in 10 years, I'm gonna help everyone, then it's like 10 years, you know, there was nothing, right? So that's the thing. Like, I could have not given these talks. I could have just, like, not cared, right? But it's the care that leaves something behind. And so my question to you, whoever you are listening, What I'm challenging you with is this notion that for a second, just forget the ideological systems and just look at life. We're on this massive, giant like rock. It's moving at what, 865,000 miles per hour or something, right? In around the sun, we are in the middle of like the gears of a celestial machine. We are in the middle of a process. This process surpasses our own emotions on it. The era of post-emotional management has arose. You have to not just be an emotional entity anymore. The advancement of civilization, of your species. You know, if you're someone who has an ego and a narcissist, utilize your ego this way. Do you know? They did this in one show. There was this guy, and I think it was John Cena or someone. It was somebody on like late night show, and pretty much this guy was saying like he's mastered the art of complimenting in a trash talking way, right? And the guy would like in a trash talking tone give compliments to people. But the idea is we don't want fake compliments. We want the activation of advanced human potential. That's all I'm looking for. If something within you, whoever you are listening, can activate and you start serving the advancement of your world, you start serving your realm, I'm telling you, like these talks have done their job. You don't even need to listen to these Mr. Within talks, right? Because you know why? Because life is speaking to you. The real, like the way your moment is going forth speaks to you. You know, on some level you're just trusting it, and it's like automating as you're entering. So the advancement of civilization is key. It's the key to the only door that the organisms on a rock have. One of the best like outcomes of the species is its advancement, even from a religious framework. You know, an advanced civilization under God is like an incredible idea. Why? Because God is the archetype for the most advanced being. So do you understand? That means advanced civilizations start with the presumption of an advanced archetype, possible. So the world has to be possible if we are to change. That means if you want to change the world, you got to already be living in that changed world behind your eyes. How else is it going to happen? That means I got it till the end of my life. Like I envision it. I'm in my inner realms. I'm already living in an advanced civilization. I just can't touch it. I can see it. I can see flying cars in the sky. I can see buildings becoming spacecraft. I could see everything accessing a three-dimensional state, three-dimensional space, in ways that we're not familiar with. Like my brain's not used to cars suddenly vertically flying into there, but one day they will. I can envision it. I have envisioned being thrown on a rock. Like, yeah, this is how I kind of like write my science fiction. I envision myself being thrown on a random planet, and then the world is left for my discovery to systemize it, because that's what human intelligence does. It's not absolute. That's one thing I realized. The technology is not absolute. We are not an absolute being right now. We're a conditional entity. If the conditions change, reality becomes messed up. We get pissed off. If the conditions are all right, we're like, oh yeah, survival, right? So the notion is the advancement of vision, the consideration of where is our heart coming home to, right? Like when you find, like it's like, how does a person know they're ready to get married? They found someone their heart wants to come home to at the end of the day, right? So what is the idea? Or they found someone who it takes a lifetime to know. It's all about noticing what levels of life are we advanced in, and constantly ushering the future generations towards better advancement. Like, who wants to give the future generations something worse? Nobody wants to give up. It's like, yeah, here you go, kids. A messed up earth, war torn, ignorant, bound. Like it's unnecessary, you know. The last thing we want is the future generations to be like, WTF, our ancestors had no clue what they were doing. Do you know how embarrassing it is? I'm trying to save the species from embarrassment in history books. That's why I'm saying usher forth legendary actions, right? I think this is why the world and the Almighty will, brought me to a point to be like, yo, man, this kid's gonna say 10,000 talks, then there's gonna come a bunch of other people who are gonna give 10,000 talks, then there's gonna come someone who's gonna give 100,000 talks, then there's gonna come someone who's going to be able to have their one mind connected to like 7 voice platforms, and they're gonna give like 700,000 talks or something in like maybe a span of like 20 years or something. So technology constantly updates, but it requires the legendary action. And you know how legends are born? Legends are born when they get pissed off by their world. When you get pissed off by your world, some part of you yearns for another. And if that other is a better world, then the victory arises. I want the species to feel they're part of the most advanced civilization in the most advanced part of the universe. That means when aliens land down, our technology is going to go check them out, not their technology. We're going to understand. Why? Because life is shifting. It's no longer survival of the fittest or survival of the smartest. It's survival of the wisdom of those who care to understand. Understand means you understood something in your own way. Now you're putting that aside, like putting that on like another layer, another dimension aside, and looking at life as if you had no opinion on it. What would it look like? And you will notice you will contact the simple earth. And once you are content with the simple earth, the complex earth activates. What does that mean? That means you're interested in spirituality, you're interested in other worlds, you're interested in power, you're interested in being like an absolutist being. All of that comes if you can let go of who you want to see who you're meant to be, why you're here for, what you're here for. Do you understand? And the idea is 8 billion tourists traveling a planet. Government agencies are tourist agencies. They have to make sure the quality of the journey of the human life is up to par to the most advanced standard. That means if one human being out of 8 billion, or let's say if one person in a town is advanced, the whole town deserves that level of advancement. That's how life works. You have to literally like the back of a kitten's head, neck, right? You gotta lift life into its next chapter, you gotta literally lift your past into the future, into the greatest probability of your future. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. An advanced civilization is the future's birthright. And if you're someone who has children, look at your children and realize you're looking at the destiny of the human species. We need more of those parents who look at their children and they're like, yo, you have to do something great. Why else did I create you? Do you understand? The child has to feel like the world is waiting for its great performance. And that's when we've got the ball rolling towards an advanced civilization. That's when the era of the songs of advanced civilization occurs. You're going to suddenly see human beings, their go-to conversation topics constantly being advancement of the whole system, greatness of the whole system, greatness of all the individuals in the system. When greatness becomes your home, anything else becomes foreign. Do you understand? You have to feel the species not only is advanced, has the potential to be advanced, it is its task. If the human being has to survive, 8 billion human beings have to survive. If 8 billion human beings are surviving through the idea of a biological organism, there has to come systems that preserve nature, and there has to be systems that introduce the unnatural to the natural. One of the most biggest things I thought in the future, biggest businesses, is one is going to be security systems, security businesses that give you pure privacy. And then the other thing is, in some sense, going to be advanced involvement of the individual valued unit. So systems and technology, they orbit a value. Okay, somebody desires something, the technology, it becomes manifested around that desire. The argument follows. You're a 4.5 billion year old evolutionary in technology. You're a biochemical organism. There's a dimension of your life that is your connection to the natural world, and that is your biological body. There's a dimension of your life which is the connection to the unnatural, which is your mind, and it's nothing to fear, it's something to navigate, to pilot. The mind and all its teachings come down to the secret of concentration. What does concentration mean? I'm not trying to be Jedi-like. I'm just pretty much telling you, you have to treat it at first as if when your eyes are open, there are light beams. Imagine there's laser beams like Cyclops and X-Men coming out from your eyes. You have to practice single-pointed concentration. Those children in schools where the teacher's like, stop daydreaming, Timmy. And Timmy's like, who the F are you, lady? Like in that situation, what daydreaming is concentration on a single point. And when that single point starts to move, you start living in your inner realms. So if you can concentrate on anything and then have that thing really become an idea, you're noticing the simultaneous ideological overlay over that object. The moment you have a subjective replication of the object you're looking at, if your attention can stay on that subjective form in your inner realms, that subjective form tends to move. So the way the mind works is anything you look at, the brain's like, yo, I'm looking at something new. Time to throw past patterns of recognition to it, and the brain's like da 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 da, throwing what it knows at the world it doesn't. That's what the brain is doing, folks. That's the human condition. This is why there's a seriousness under my tone. Because it's bizarre. It's weird. It's a weird life. People are acting normal. That's the weirdest shit. In a world that we don't see its edge, with an intelligence that we don't know its origin. We're acting like normal people. It's freaking bullshit. Forget everybody. All the ideological systems. Forget both capitalism and Marxism. The human being is in a costume game. It's in a costume game of a language level. Guys, are you hearing me? Honestly, sometimes when I don't see comments in the chat section, I feel like, it's like, in the emptiness of the cosmos, how loud can you shout? When you are seeing a species that is not activating its potential when it should be, what can you do? All you can do is shout at the void. Because really, it's not empty. Emptiness is God's surveillance. There are forces here. And there are mysteries here. There's a question mark behind your eyes, and there's a question mark in front of it. We can't find the edge of the outer realms, and we can't find the true nature of the inner realms. I have tried. It's not that we can't find. It's just texture-wise, the mind is like a bridging technology. It's not a pure technology on its own. It's as if there's a realm of pure solid reality, and there's a realm of pure gas reality. The gas reality is invisible, people call it soul. The solid reality is visible, people call it matter, body, right? And then what the intelligence, it's kind of like from a three-dimensional reality, we are seeing, experiencing a two-dimensional life, and we're acting like we're two-dimensional beings. That's what a fucking excuse my language, that's what a materialist is. A materialist is a lower dimension, excuse my language, I wanted to say a lower dimension fool. I wanted to say cuck, but I shouldn't say that term. What I should say really is that what do you truly have access to? What are you seeing that is not just physical, and how can you ignore it? How can you ignore intelligence? Being anything that moves, it has to do with force. It doesn't have to do with form only. In the chaos of a world we don't understand, we've risen in order. We've just set up a organized story, and we're living in it, acting like everything is okay. The human being, let this be said by one human being, that Mr. Within in 2024 is witnessing a human species that hypnotized itself. It's a hypnotized species. Everybody's hypnotized. Why? Because we have to be. It's scary to walk in the meaningless. It's scary to walk in the unknown. But the only way you can truly walk in the unknown comfortably is with a faith that surpasses that. It's kind of like, imagine you're someone you've climbed a staircase before, and then you see someone who's never climbed a staircase freaking out. And you look at them and you're like, one day you're going to be up those stairs and you're going to laugh at how you freaked out about the first step. One day we're all going to be in the most advanced systems of human thought known to man, and we're going to look back and be like, yo, some dude was talking about it back then. The issue is that if only our self deserved greatness, that would be easy. Everybody solo it out. But because everyone and the world deserves greatness, the greatness of the world has to mean the greatness of every part of that world. Every square inch of existence has a potential for a future that is greater than what it's being. All these beings, even me, even you, even us. And when the designer army of mankind, when human beings activate, you don't know, guys. I've seen this in my inner realms. I've seen too many previews of it, but you know what it becomes? Human beings are kind of like, imagine one monkey freaking out and then 8 billion monkeys freaking out, right? That's what's going to happen. But it's going to happen that we're going to freak out, not in the sense of being intimidated by the forces of our perception, but rather we're going to be so inspired because we're going to feel the advancement of civilization in every moment of our existence in it. You are in the presence of what will be the great legacy of humanity. Don't forget this. They're disconnecting you with the honor of the greatness of your species. I want you to go in front of the mirror and say, what's happening? Like, what's being done about my species? Do you understand? I want that ego in people. I want people to start feeling that they have assembled, that you have, from wherever in the cosmos, the consciousness of your universal self has animated, from wherever your attention has come to attend this great event of the humanization of this sector of reality. Tomorrow when you wake up, smile as if the advancement of civilization depends on all of us. All of us. Even you might be an evil, messed up person hearing me, even you. Because beyond chaos and order, the circle of the yin-yang was a superior truth. The advanced civilization is neither good or evil. It's pretty much all ideological systems pausing and helping build an advanced environment for everybody and then resuming. You want to be an evil person, build and help, just become neutral and help build an advanced civilization, and then in that advanced civilization be evil. Most likely you'll have your own cyber simulated world to be as evil as you want. Right? The idea is it's a collective responsibility. That means your life, as long as you're existing on Earth, is not just your life. It's all of it's an effort for all of our lives. If you can't love your species, then you never loved anyone here anyways. You never loved even yourself because you're part of your species. If you were the last human being alive, you would be like the critical DNA. You know, the rarest DNA. Do you understand? So there's something rare going on with the fact that we've evolved so long to exist, to perform. So the question should be not about we should destroy problems, right? The idea should be, in some sense, what does the moment deserve? And we align the expectation to that. That means the human species doesn't deserve like fragmenting itself in symbolism and then destroying itself by conflicting. We're all the same same design of a species. Do you understand? That means we've surpassed the era of caring about how we look. Now we're caring about how all of us look. Like, I want 8 billion. Imagine a species suited up. Do you understand? Imagine 8 billion beings. Like, imagine aliens are coming to meet us and everybody's wearing like a fine suit. Do you know what I mean? If you truly love the world, then you live for the world. To live for the world, to live for life is a way to live for life. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.